tonight's discussion is dreams and their interpretations. I have given this class a long time, and we're going to see this evening, we're going to start by looking at dreams in Jewish history a little bit, and how they have actually been a major part of making us into a people. Then we're going to look at some famous Talmudic statements, some of them very puzzling, and then we're going to finish off, time permitting, with a list of dreams and their interpretations, which is based very strongly in Jewish thought, specifically the last the last chapter in the tractate of Barachot of dreams. So dreams obviously has been a major area of thought anyway, most famously by Sigmund Freud, whose middle name was, anyone know his middle name? No, not Lawrence. He'd be lucky. Shlomo was actually his middle name, and he wrote a book called The Interpretation of Dreams. And in his book, trying to work on dreams, he says that he wants to provide people with a psychological technique which allows them to interpret their dreams. And he had a certain principle that he says that when you apply your thoughts into how dreams work, every dream can turn into a meaningful physical formulation, and you can use it in your waking life. That was kind of his theory on dreams, which helps us a little bit and coincides a little bit with the Jewish view of dreams and dream interpretation. But dream interpretation is going to be a lot more in depth, and that's what we're going to be doing this evening. So first of all, the Torah itself, in the Bible, we see there are actually 10 episodes of dreams. And many of them you've heard of, and didn't even think that, one second, that was a dream. Why do they dream that? You know, why didn't they see it? Why did it happen to them when they were in a dream state? So anyone know a famous example from the Torah of a famous dream that someone had? Jacob said Jacob. Very good. What did Jacob dream? No, Jacob didn't dream the wheat. That's not him. We're going to get to him. He dreamed of a ladder. That's right, the ladder. He's lying down, and he put rocks around his head, and he was there on Mount Moriah, and he dreamt, the Torah says, and he saw a ladder going from the earth all the way up to the heavens, and there were angels that were ascending, and there were angels that were descending, right? He was about to leave the land of Israel. He was fleeing from his evil twin brother Esau. And this revelation, by the way, is a lot of commentary why it was a ladder he saw and not stairs, right, or a slope. But that's another discussion, not for now. But this dream actually was a revelation to Jacob and his descendants, that's us. There were going to be different exiles where the Jewish people would be, and that's why the ladder actually had 4 rungs on it for the 4 different exiles, and the idea that he was accompanied by angels. So we see already this idea of dreams is going to formulate Jewish history. Anyone know the next series of dreams? Someone mentioned it over here, I think. Joseph, very good. Joseph was Jacob's son. And Joseph has a lot in common with his father Jacob. They look alike. And he was his kind of favorite son, which he shouldn't have really, you see. Unless you have only one son like me, then you can have a favorite son. But he had a lot in common with him. And Jacob dreamt, so his son Joseph, who he had a lot in common with, who also had troubles with brothers, both had trouble with their brothers, you see. Right, Jacob had trouble with Esau, and Joseph had trouble with his brothers. He also dreamt. So Joseph was actually a dream interpreter. And his career as a dream interpreter is mentioned in the Torah in a lot of detail. I mean, we're told exactly what his dream was. And what did he dream? Anybody know? He was a young boy, and he dreamt that he saw sheaves of wheat. Does anyone know what a sheaf of wheat is? Yeah, neither do I. But he saw these, I think it's like bundles, you know, unless you're involved in like Christian liturgy, and we don't use sheaves too much, and I'm saying, so he saw these sheaves of wheat, and how many were there? Yeah, there were 12. And he saw them, right, actually there was more, I'm sorry, there was actually 13, I take that back actually. And he saw these sheaves of wheat bowing down to him, and he's like, oh my goodness, right? I had this amazing dream. He tells his brother's like, what? What are you saying? Are you saying that we, your 12 brothers, and your father, Steve, we there, and your mother as well are going to bow down to you? By the way, where was his mother? She was gone already. She had died. Okay, that's an important thing, because we're going to learn out a principle about dreams, because he saw something in his dream which wasn't technically true, that his mother was also bowing down to him, and she couldn't because she was going to pass on. So we see that already we can have dreams which have things which may not be true in them. Did they believe that dream? What do they say? Yes, that'd be silly. We're going to bow down to you. You're a bad brother. That's what they thought. He wasn't really. But did they believe the dream? Well, they became very jealous. Now, you only become jealous over a dream if it's possibly going to come true. What was his father's reaction? Right, he wasn't too happy, but it says he kind of held on to it. He wanted to see what would happen with this dream. Yeah? And eventually his brothers get so upset with him, right? He has another dream about stars in the heaven, 12 stars in the heaven, the sun and the moon, and they bow down to him as well. So he just like makes matters worse. Eventually they get so jealous, they end up selling him, and he ends up being sold down. You saw the movie. Joseph Technicolor Dreamcoat. It was red and yellow and green and blue and right? Now, I didn't see the movie, but I read the book. And in the book, it says that he was sold down into Egypt, right? Now, in Egypt, what happened to him? He got a job working for this guy, right? Potiphar, and he's working for him, and then he gets accused of a crime he did not commit. He gets thrown into jail, and all this is written in the Torah. And the Torah is spending precious pages on this whole story. And there's two guys in jail already. Who are those two guys in jail? Baker, very good, and a cupbearer. And they're having these terrible dreams. They wake up, and they're like, we had a terrible dream. And they're like, maybe you, Hebrew, you're a strange guy. And can you interpret the dreams? He's like, I'll give it a go. And he interprets the dreams, and he says, you're going to die in a few days. And you, right, the wine guy, I saw your dream, right? You saw like grapes and stuff. You actually are going to live, and you're going to go back. When you go back, don't forget, I hooked you up with interpretation. And the bread maker dies a few days later, just like he saw in the dream. And the wine guy lives and goes back to Pharaoh. And you would have thought, fine, that's the end of the dreams. But eventually, Pharaoh starts having dreams. It's out of control. And what does he dream? And remember, he sees thin cows and fat cows and sheaves of wheat and big sheaves of wheat. And he sees these thin cows. And he said, what am I going to do? And he calls up people, and they're like, these 7 cows represent these 7 kids. They're going to die. They're going to get swallowed up. And everyone's got interpretations. And Joseph comes along. It's a whole talk in of itself, by the way. We'll do this another time. He works out in a very clever way what the dream means. It's true. Pharaoh says, wow, you are a complete genius. He went from the lowest of the low from prison. It's a good thing to know. This can happen. From the lowest, and prisons those days weren't like, they're not air-conditioned, places where you fold laundry. In those days, prisons were basically holes in the ground where you lived for many years. And he gets pulled out, and he becomes viceroy of Egypt, all because of his dream interpretation. Wow. And what happens then? Then eventually the brothers come down into Egypt. Know the whole story? Come down to Egypt eventually, and they only survive because he's the viceroy of Egypt, and he gives them food and takes care of them. And really the whole beginning of the Jewish people, right, all the way from Jacob, maybe Abraham as well actually, all the way down to Pharaoh and the Jews in Egypt, is to do with dreams. So you can see the Jewish history seems to have a lot to do with these dream things. Says the Zohar, the famous Kabbalistic work of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, good to mention, tonight is Lag BaOmer. Says the Zohar, nothing takes place in this world except that which has previously been made known. In other words, things occur in this world, but there's like a revelation that's got to come in from the spiritual world, whatever this means. This is the Zohar speaking, that comes into this world. How does it come through? Either by means of a dream or by means of a proclamation. That's called a certain voice comes into the world, whatever that means, it means. And he says that we, the Jewish people, we used to have prophets. Now, I've mentioned before that we, the Jewish people, are no longer a prophet organization, but we used to have prophets. And they would reveal certain things. These were very highly spiritual people. Actually, there used to be schools in prophecy. People used to go and learn how to be great prophets. They would work their way up. Like you can grow intellectually by going to college, or nowadays decline, but it used to be. So too, there were schools of prophecy. And a prophet would have that ability. Says the Zohar, when prophecy stopped, right, at a certain time during the temple period, the sages succeeded them. And in our time, this is Zohar speaking, when the wise sages are no longer with us, that which is to come is revealed in dreams. So now dreams aren't just things that happen to us while we're asleep. There is a possibility that maybe there are certain things that can be revealed to us. So in Jewish thought, we're going to divide dreams into 3 categories. 1, 2, 3. The first category, is the dream you have, which may be more of the kind of Freudian thing, where you have stuff happening to you in your life, and you see people during the day, or you see unusual things, and then you go to sleep and you dream about what you saw. That's one kind of dream. And that dream is meaningless. Doesn't mean anything, right? Your mind says lots of things, and it's kind of like your dream is just kind of expunging and allowing all your brain is allowing all this stuff to just kind of get out. And if you see a dream, and you think it means something, and you're like, well, 1 second, I dreamt about my Uncle Harry, but I just saw Uncle Harry, I just spoke to him, or I met another Uncle Harry with the name Uncle Harry, right? It probably is meaningless, okay? It's just stuff I saw during the day. There's a famous story of a Persian king who approached one of the rabbis and said, you're so great, you Jews at interpreting dreams. Tell me what I'm going to dream about tonight, right? And when a king says it, you've got to do it, or the Jewish people could be in trouble. So the rabbi turned to that Persian king, and he gave him a very detailed description of a war that was going to happen, and he said that you're going to be captured, and you're going to be cut up, and he went through very gruesome details of this horrible operation that's going to be done to him, right? And the king was very shaken up, and that night he dreamt about that, and the rabbi got it right and saved the Jewish people. What was the idea? The idea being that if something intense is happening to you in your life, chances are that it's just your brain working at it. Okay, so those kind of dreams you could pretty much forget and ignore. There's another type of dream, which is the exact opposite, which is a real divinely inspired dream. And that's when you get a very clear visitation, okay? And there is no question, what you see is what you see, and it's almost at the level of prophecy, without being prophecy, because we don't have prophecy, but it's almost coming through the level of prophecy. That's the other extreme. But there's this area in between, which really we're going to focus on tonight, which is a little bit of both. It's got some truth in it, and it's got a little bit of non-truth in it. And there could be certain signs, and it's not stuff I thought about, and very importantly, it's a recurring dream. We saw that in the Torah. Remember that Joseph, right, dreamt twice, and Pharaoh had 2 dreams as well. Recurring dreams also have a certain, the Gemara says, thing that goes with it, that it could be more true than something else. So if you see signs or symbols or things or people who you didn't see the entire day, and you're not a great tzaddik or tzaddiket, righteous person, right? Those are the 2 extremes, and most of us kind of somewhere in between the 2 extremes. Those dreams could well have something in it. And that's why the Talmud says, and this is really the crux of today's talk, that some things, anyone heard of the fraction? Remember fractions in school? Do you do fractions, right? Percentages? No. So a 60th. 1 over 60. Right? You heard that percentage, like that kind of like, you heard that before, 1 over 60? Right, so in Jewish thought, that's a big thing, like in the world of kosher, right? You know that if I have a big pot of kosher food, right, and I got a friend of mine who's eating a ham sandwich, right, which is not kosher, and he's walking along, and suddenly the ham falls out of his sandwich and goes, whoop, 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 into my pot, and I was stirring at the time, and I'm like, right? I'm like, woo, in it goes, and it goes in there. Am I allowed, according to Jewish law, to eat the food in that pot? And the answer is, it depends. That's always the answer. It depends. What does it depend upon? If there are 60 parts the kosher food to 1 part the non-kosher food, or if milk falls into meat as well, because meat and milk, even though they're both kosher, you can't cook together. And the milk, you knew that, right? And the milk goes into the meat pot, and it mixes up. I'm like, whoa, yo. I don't dig swine, right? I don't do the milk and meat thing. I'm throwing this away. And the answer is you're not allowed to throw it away because you're wasting food. Why? Because there's 60 parts. Why is 60? So 60th represents kind of like it's here and not here. Just the cusp of reality to non-reality. It's just there. And sleep is a 60th of death, right? Although my wife says, for me, it's 2/3, right? But it's a 60th of death, and dreams are a 60th of prophecy, It's a 60th. It's kind of just there, not there, just on the cusp, the edge. It's got it's a shmek. It just got a taste of this thing. That's what a dream, if it's in this middle zone, has the capability of having. We'll see some examples of this. Now, the Hebrew word for a dream, anyone know what it is? It's a good word. It's chalom, chalom, chet lamed vav mem. Chalom is the word for a dream. And it's an interesting word because it's related to another word which has the same shoresh, the same root. So chalom is related to the word called hachmala. So the word hachlama is actually a cure or a therapy. So the word for dream is related to the word hachlama. Why is that? Because a dream or a nightmare, and we'll see, by the way, that what is actually a nightmare, we're going to see today very clearly, may not be so bad, and what may seem like a great dream is actually not so good. But either way, whether it is a dream or a nightmare, there is a certain curative thing that it does for you. I mean, even if it's the first one, just you saw something traumatic during the day, or you saw someone, it kind of like brings up that thing you were thinking about, and it puts it into your mind, and the next day, you think about it. So maybe it's a person, you've got to do something for somebody, right? Maybe you saw something, you said something, so it kind of cures you. Dreams are, according to Judaism, good for you. They can cure you, they can heal you, they can bring things to you. Things maybe you don't want to think about normally. The dream brings us, say, hey, you need to work on this. Or something which you've been thinking about so much and you shouldn't be thinking about, the dream says, yeah, you shouldn't be messing with this. You see? So dreams have that concept as well. Now, there's another concept in Jewish thought, and this is a class of mysticism, but what I'm going to say is actually not mystical, though it may sound like it, but it's not, because Rashi, the famous commentator, mentions this on the Bible. And it goes like this. You have 5 parts of your mouth, according to Judaism. You have your lips, you have your teeth, you have your tongue, you have the top of your mouth, and your throat. And all those 5 parts help you speak. Okay? Some words come from the lips, the b, some come from the l, right? Comes from the top of the mouth, and some come from the throat, the ch, right? So different letters, the Hebrew letters we're talking about, come from different parts of the mouth. So, why do I tell you that? Not because I wanted to say ch, right? I tell you that because if you have 2 letters that come from the same part of the mouth, you're allowed in Jewish thought to interchange them, to change them, to flip them. Well, why would you do that? Because if you have, it's unusual, I know, but if you have one word one way, and then you change one of the letters, if it comes from the same part of the mouth, right, it can actually become a different word. But those 2 words are related. That's what they say. Rashi mentions it, so it can't be too Kabbalistic, because he wasn't too Kabbalistic in his interpretations of things. He was very giving the surface. But that is a concept which is used quite regularly in understanding things. So let's take the word and let's try it. So the word chalom is very similar to another Hebrew word which has different letters, but they're connected to these letters. And the word is chalon. So chalom is close to chalon. What's a chalon? A window. Why would the word for a dream be the same word for a window? Because it's the window that's going to let you see in, or maybe see out. Allowed to view things which otherwise couldn't have been seen. Because if I got a wall in front of me, right, I can't see it. You see, it's like that joke, kids say. It's like, I got a device to help you see through walls. It's like, what's that? It's a window. You see, so windows are there, and they help you see through things, and see things you otherwise wouldn't have been able to see. Okay, so they become the window to your own, a little bit like Freud was saying, to your own psyche, but now we're saying a little bit more than that. They don't let you see in. This dream thing can also let you see out. See things which normally you wouldn't have been able to see if they are interpreted correctly. And that's going to be important. You've got to get the right interpretation. I'm going to explain to you exactly what I mean by the right interpretation. So let's keep going before we get to the list. So there's this really, really strange statement in the Talmud. And the Talmud says the following, that if you want to know what a dream means, it all depends on how you interpret it. Holech achar pitrono. It goes after the interpretation. When I was in yeshiva, by the way, we used to learn a lot of Talmud, and we got to this chapter, and I was like, wow. So I became fascinated with this chapter, the 9th chapter of the Talmud tractate of Brachot, where a lot of this information comes from. And it speaks about dreams. And it says that the interpretation you give a dream is what the dream is going to mean. It goes off, that's very strange. I mean, does that mean that if I go up to you and I say, so I dreamt last night that I was swimming and I was attacked by a flying fish that bit me, and I ask you, what do you think that means? And you're like, what? I didn't have that dream. But what? And you're like, oh, that means that you're going to open a fish store. And then I ask someone else, what do you think it means? And this expert in dreams says, well, I think it means that you're going to get bitten today in business. And I ask someone else, and I get 24 interpretations. So according to the Talmud, those 24 interpretations are all going to happen, right? And actually the Talmud says there was a Rav Benar who actually had 24 people, I mean, assuming people who interpret his dream 24 ways, and all of them occurred. Very strange, very unusual. What does that mean? So what I believe, and I've learned that this is saying, is that when you take an interpretation to a dream, there's still a level of free will that exists with it. In other words, dreams are ethereal, they're up there. But when you actually speak it out, and someone says it, and then you hear it, and you accept it, it's kind of like what's going to happen to you. And that's why the Talmud says, and a dream that is not interpreted is like an unread letter. It's like a letter that's not been read. It's there waiting for it, but if you don't interpret it, it's not going to happen. But if you interpret it a certain way, and there's a whole Talmudic piece about two great rabbis who went to have their dreams interpreted by this expert. And one guy, I think, was paying him, and one guy wasn't. And the one who was paying him, he gave great interpretations. Then when he wasn't, he gave bad interpretations. And bad stuff happened to the guy who gave bad, and good stuff to the person who gave good. And it's like, it's not fair. And they said, well, it goes off the interpretation. In other words, if I hear it, I still have free will how I engage the interpretation that I heard. That could be one understanding of why that would be. But one thing we're going to learn from this is be careful how you interpret a dream. Don't go to anyone to ask them, because what they say could somehow, whether it's psychologically, whether it's emotionally, whether it's spiritually, it could happen according to the interpretation. I get asked regularly, and when I say regularly, I mean at least once a week. People will call me, I get approached by students and say, I had the following dream. What does it mean? Now, unless I know specifically what it means, unless I know which, we're going to see there's many things that are mentioned. I'll give you a long list of them. Unless I've been told explicitly what it is, I will always say it's a good dream, and I'll give it a good interpretation. And that's based upon this Talmudic piece, because I don't know what it means, right? I was chosen to be the interpreter because I'm the rabbi guy, right? I have the, you know, the beard and the yarmulke and the nose. So I go to him, you know, I'm not a Christian, I'm going to the priest or something, I'm not a Buddhist. So I go to the rabbi, and I'm obligated to say, you know, it's good, and I'll try to give it a positive interpretation, hoping full well, unless I know really what it means. Right? Many times I say, what's going on in your life right now? He goes, I don't know. I dreamt about my boyfriend David last night, and in this dream was this, 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 this. And I said, well, what happened today? David broke up with me. I said, well, I think we can find a relatively clear causal link between David breaking up with you and you spending the whole night crying and dreaming about him in your sleep. Okay? So if you try to find, that's what I try to do, try to find a rational explanation. If there is no rational explanation, and if it's recurring, so then you've got to take a little bit of notice. There's actually a very interesting halakha, Jewish law about dreams that doesn't apply anywhere else. You know that we Jews fast, okay? We have, let's learn this actually. How many, I do this with my kids, but it's good to know this. How many fast days do we have in the Jewish calendar? 6. I'll teach you quickly how to memorize them. Black, white, man, woman, long, short. Okay? Black and white. Black is Tisha B'Av, the sad one, comes up end of July. It's a sad day. White is Yom Kippur, because Yom Kippur purifies you. Man, it's Tzom Gedalia, day after Rosh Hashanah. Right? Gedalia was killed, time of the temples. And the woman is Esther, the day before Megillat, for Purim, we have the fast of Esther. We have the long one, which occurs right in the middle of the summer, Shiva Asar B'Tammuz, which is falling punct when I'm in Israel on the JC trip. God bless it. And the other one, maybe Mashiach will come first, we'll get rid of them all. And the last one is a Aseret B'Tevet, the last of this called a short one because it occurs in the winter, right? It's a short one, okay? Now, let's say one of those fast days falls on Shabbat, okay? Do we fast on Shabbat? And the answer is no, because Shabbat's a day of joy. And all those fast days, except one of them, we push off. We push them off so we don't have to fast on Shabbat. Does anyone know the one of those 6 that if it falls on Shabbat, we do actually fast? It's happened actually recently, actually, in the past couple of years. is Yom Kippur. Because Yom Kippur is not a Saturday, it's a happy day. And Yom Kippur in the Torah is called Shabbat, Shabbaton, the Sabbaths of Sabbaths. And therefore, it's not a contradiction, right? The two actually blend together. And Yom Kippur we do teshuvah, we repent. And Shabbat is shav, to repent as well, return. So it kind of works together. But otherwise we don't fast on Shabbat. Yom Kippur is one exception. The other ones we push off. There's only one other exception to that. And that is if you have a really disturbing dream. If you have a really disturbing dream, right, the Talmud and the Shulchan Aruch tells us that you're meant to find 3 great people who love you. Okay, for you guys, maybe one's enough, but you get the idea, okay? You find 3 people who love you, and you tell them the dream that you had, and they say, it's a good dream, you see the same thing. It's a good dream, it's a good dream, it's a good dream, and they're kind of like, they tranquilize it. Right? They tranquilize. That's if you're really disturbed. If you have had such a dream, we could talk about, whether you should do it or not, and by the way, then you have to repent because you fasted on Shabbat, and on Shabbat you're meant to eat and enjoy food. So you have to repent for that. It's a whole messy procedure. If you can, wait till Sunday. But, I mean, if it happens that Friday night you have a bad dream, then Shabbat, a person would actually have to fast, right? And then try to ameliorate it. And there's actually in the Siddur, most Siddurim, prayer books, you'll see a page, right? This amelioration of a dream. Hey, you're meant to go to three people and fast and a whole big thing. So, I mean, it's a serious thing. And we're not discussing something. There's actually Jewish law that is based upon it. Okay? Okay. So, here's another question. I mean, let's just go back a little bit, and then I'll tell you a beautiful idea, and then we'll do the list, okay? First of all, why did God create this thing called sleep? And forget dreams for a second. Right? Why did God create a thing called sleep? I mean, God could do whatever, right, he wants, assuming, right, because he's God, right? And he could have had it that we don't have to sleep. Wouldn't that be amazing? I mean, you'd be so much more productive. So many more hours on Facebook. Can you imagine that? I mean, I'll be able to like so many more, statuses, I could update, right, my life. It's like 4 in the morning. It's not 4 in the morning. It's like it's 4 o'clock during the day again. It's like a 24-hour clock just like constantly going. Wouldn't that be great? Why did God create a thing called sleep? So let me give you a couple of beautiful answers to this, okay, which will lead us into something else. So number one, I heard this from actually Rabbi Eli, who works. He heard it from his rabbi, but I never saw it inside, but it's a beautiful answer. If life was one long day, if you made a mistake, you couldn't wake up the next morning and say, that was yesterday, I'll start a new day. Isn't that beautiful? In other words, if life was like, oh God, 5 years I did something and it's still with me, I still can't get over it. But God, in his mercy, did this amazing thing. He allowed us to go to sleep and that was a bad day, but today's a new day. So we have this division during the day where we kind of stop and we get to start all over again, right? The sun rises and we get to start again, right? So thank goodness, although yesterday was terrible and I did many terrible things and I regret them, but you know what? There's still tomorrow. That's a beautiful idea. I want to give you another one based upon a medrash. And the medrash says, I'll tell you why sleep exists. Sleep is going to help you with a very important character trait. What's that trait? And the trait is humility. Why? Imagine you're a big business person. Imagine you're a successful lawyer, doctor, father, teacher, rabbi, astronaut. And everyone loves you. And you are the most amazing person in the world. You're the best of the best, or you're not, and you think you are, like, most of us, right? And we think we're the best of the best because no one's as good as us. And it could be that we think we're God. So what happens is 1/3 of our lives is spent paralyzed. Just think about it. It's a wild thing. No matter how big and special you are, no matter how much you think you control the world, and you're in control of yourself, and corporations, right, and businesses, and countries, and the moon, in the end, I still have to be in a paralyzed state for a bunch of hours every night where I can't move or do anything. It humbles you a little bit. You're not such a kanaka. You're not such a big person. Bring yourself down to earth a little bit. All right, we're not that great. Okay? We're not that great. Okay. So why dreams? I mean, why do they exist? Why did God create this thing called dreams? So the answer to this is beautiful. It can change the way you look at the world. Check this out. This is unbelievable. According to the mystical tradition, as we're going to see over the next few weeks, this world does not really exist. I mean, it does exist. It's there. I can feel it, right? But it's just like the Matrix. Actually, it happens to be the Matrix is the clearest example of how we see the world according to Kabbalah, right? It looks real, it smells real, but it's really like a computer-generated program that we live in, like a testing station, a place we come into, right, this world, this imaginary world, to do things, and then we go, and our souls leave our bodies, and we enter into the real world, what we call, actually in Judaism, it's called Olam HaEmet, right, the world of truth, right, the place where the soul is the main thing and not the body. So this world is like a testing station, right, a computer-generated program, binary codes. Instead of 10000111111, it's Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Ches, Tes, and Yud. And that world is pulled together by the Hebrew letters. Okay. Now, you could turn around to me and say, Rabbi, you are drinking too much whiskey. You, which I am on Shabbat, you are smoking the wrong cigarettes, which I don't. Right? You are completely out of it. What are you talking about? Are you telling me that this world is not real? Well, according to physics, I mean, everything feels real, but really it's all just energy, isn't it? We now know that, right? Thanks to Einstein and others, right? The whole world is just a lot of energy that's moving around, and what feels real, actually, according to science, is really here. You can take the entire world and put it into a golf ball. I mean, but you talk, but I can feel it. It's there. You're telling me I'm walking around like a dream state? I can prove it to you. You see, inside this world, which you're so sure is real, I'm going to create something which is going to happen to you every night as a sign. And what's that? Something called dreams. Do you remember last night you were dreaming and you were convinced it was real? Remember that? And you woke up in the morning like, oh, thank goodness it wasn't real. Oh, how can that have been real? You know what I'm saying? Okay, don't tell me about those dreams, thank you. Right? And you felt that dream and you were like, but while I was there, it seemed so real. So God gave us a metaphor inside the metaphor. He gave us a dream world inside this dream world, so you can turn around and say, wow, last night I thought that was real, but it wasn't. So maybe this whole world around me seems like it's everything real, and actually it isn't as well. It could be. It could be. Everyone following that idea? It's a complicated idea, but it's a very beautiful one. Right? God is saying to you, you have it. Every night I'll give you a little bit of it. And that's what the Talmud says, that if a person goes 7 days without a dream, not such a good thing. I mean, I don't know anyone who doesn't dream for 7 days, right? But not such a good thing because it's necessary. It cures us, right? Achlama, it cures us. And also, it's a sign and a symbol. And maybe there's certain pieces of 60th of prophecy that are being revealed to us when we have our dreams. Good. Okay. So now what we're going to do is, I want to show you that when a person has a dream, and we'll have some fun with this, the Talmud goes through various dreams, and I have other sources as well. I'm going to tell you the dream, and you tell me whether it's good or bad. Is that a good one? All right? Okay. So let's say you have a dream, and you see in your dream that your nose falls off. Anyone had that dream before? Right? Or a piece of your nose falls off. Is that a good dream or a bad dream? Bad? So the Talmud says it shows that you are angry. And by the way, a lot of these dreams, it's very unusual, are based upon plays on words. Because the word for a nose is an af, and anger in Hebrew is af as well, the same word. So if your nose falls off, you are get ridding of your anger, and it shows you were having some anger in your life, and that's going to calm down. So that's a good dream. How about you dream that both your hands are cut off? Is that a good dream? I can imagine waking up, Rabbi Lawrence, I just dreamt my hands are cut off. Oh my God, I need my arms. I'm like, all right, at least you'll be armless to your friends. You get it? Armless, armless? Okay, fine. I'm like, come on. Is it a good or a bad dream? And it means that things are going so well, you're not going to need your hands to do anything anymore. That's what it means. It's a great dream. You see? I mean, everyone's walking around with these frightening interpretations. And read the Talmud, that's actually a really, really good dream to have. It means you don't need your hands for anything. You're going to be wealthy. How about that your jaws fall away? You dream that your jaws, your mouth, I mean, I haven't had this dream myself, right? But your jaw falls away. Is that a good dream or a bad dream? Very good. You're getting the idea, okay? Yeah, why is it a good dream? So it shows that people have spoken badly against you, says the Talmud, but now their mouth has fallen away and they can't say anything bad about you. That's a good dream to have. How about your legs get cut off in a dream. Oh my goodness, that's not a good dream. That can't be good, get it? Great dream. It means that your wealth is going to grow and people are going to ride you everywhere, right? Who doesn't walk around? Right? People are being driven around, right? On a horse, on a camel, in a Maserati if you're Sephardi Jewish. You see, it's all these amazing things, right? Okay. How about you see a well in your dream? A well, you know, like a well. Good or bad? So the answer is, it's very good because we saw that Isaac dug wells, right, and eventually brought peace to the world, because also water is a sign of life and Torah, so it means peace is going to come your way. A river, a kettle, and a bird. A river, but there's a whole interpretation of these three. There's actually a book, right, written by Ruff Feldman, which I have at home actually, called The River, the Kettle, and the Bird. And if you dream about a river, a kettle, and a bird, right? My father says that he dreams about one of these regularly. Okay, so yeah, what is that? So that says that each of these actually in a dream is actually a very, very good thing. If you see a reed in a dream, which we don't really have too much nowadays, right? So reed is a kaneh, and the word to acquire something is koneh. So it means a lot of wisdom is going to come your way. How about an ox? See an ox in your dream. So if it's eating meat, it means you're going to become wealthy. If it's goring, right, it's getting involved, it means you're going to study well. If it bit you, if an ox bites you in a dream, specifically not any animal, just an ox, we'll see why later, that means trouble is coming. That's not a good one. If it kicked you, you're going on a long journey. I mean, as far as it can kick you, actually, it makes a lot of sense, right? Boo, right? And if you're riding on an ox, that's a great dream, right? So everyone think about oxes. Oxes, riding on an ox, riding on an ox. Okay, that's a good one. How about a donkey? Is a donkey good or bad? So you see a donkey in a dream, great. Great. Why? Because who's going to come riding on a donkey according to one interpretation? We're going to talk about this later on the course. Mashiach, right? One interpretation, we'll see one, right? Means he's going to come along very humble on a donkey. So it means that some kind of salvation is going to happen for you. Grapes. Grapes. White, what the Kabbalah says. Grapes, good or bad? It depends. What does it depend upon? Whether they're white or red grapes, okay? If you see white grapes in your dreams, says the Talmud, good sign. If they're red-black, actually, it says black grapes, right? If they're in season, it's a good sign. But if you see black grapes out of season, right? Which nowadays everything's in season the whole time because everything's imported. But actually, fruits and vegetables actually have seasons, right? Although our supermarkets are full of everything in the entire year, that's actually not such a good sign. Horses. Horse. Okay, who said that? Who said that? Okay, remind me not to come to you for a dream interpretation. Thank you, terrible, yes. Depends whether it's white horse or a red horse. A white horse, is there a drink, white horse? A white horse is a good sign, no matter what it's doing. A red horse, if it's moving slowly, good sign, but a red horse going fast is not good. Yishmael. If you see Yishmael, who's Yishmael? Who was Yishmael? Abraham had a son called Isaac, had a brother called Yishmael, his older brother, right? Yishmael. Now, I don't know how you're meant to know it's Yishmael. I mean, you can't ask him, can you? Like, excuse me, is your name Yishmael, right? Like, maybe he's got a hat, like a baseball cap saying, I am Yishmael, right? Or the T-shirt, my dad is Abraham, you know, but I'm not Isaac, you know. My brother Isaac, right, went to Israel, all I got was a lousy T-shirt, you know, and not the Torah, you know what I'm saying? So Yishmael actually is a good sign because it's clever. Yishmael means God, right? El, right? Yishma will listen. So that means that God has heard your prayers. So if you meet someone called, and this is the Talmud, this is 2,000 years ago, if you see an Arab in a dream, yeah, not so good. Okay, a camel. See a camel. I know the answer to that one. It means someone's going to get the hump with you, right? Right? Get over with you. No. A camel is death has been decreed upon you. But you escaped it because we know there's a pasuk in the Torah that says, I shall descend to Egypt, but I shall ascend with you. Gam Allah. So Hebrew word for a camel is a gamal. So Gam Allah is found in the Torah, meaning that someone was about to die, but actually we ended up going up and we got out. So it's actually a sign that you got close to something not so good, could have, and that was good. Pinchas was another character in the Torah. Talmud says very good. How about an elephant? Dream about an elephant. How do you say elephant in Hebrew? Pil, pil. It's close to another word which is pella, pella. Pella is a great thing. If you see an elephant in your dream, amazing things are going to happen to you. Except if the elephant is saddled. For some reason, that's not a good dream. Monkey. Ooh, no, not a good sign. Not a good sign. Right? If in a dream, this actually happened to me recently. If in a dream you reply to Kaddish, right, Yiskadal, Yiskadash, Shemir Rabbah, right, you would think, Kaddish is, right, someone, dead people, right? Well, actually, Kaddish has nothing to do with death. It's just people who have close family members who've passed away will say Kaddish for them because it's a very holy prayer, and it means you're going to get to the next world. It's a very good dream to have. Saying the Shema in your dream, great, great. Okay? It means Hashem's divine presence is going to rest upon you. Here's a question. This happened about 9 years ago. For some reason, in 1 week, I had 3 people call me up and tell me they dreamt that their teeth fell out. All right? So I heard it once, and I said, oh, it's a good thing. Heard it again, oh, it's a good thing. And then third time, I'm like, I better call an expert. So I called my Rav at the time, and he showed me in Rav Yaakov Emden, who's one of these scholars, he has a Siddur, and in a commentary at the beginning of his Siddur, okay, about, I think, 150 years ago, Rav Yaakov Emden, I don't know. So in his Siddur, he has a commentary in there, and he talks about this idea of teeth falling out. Now, if you're having teeth trouble, or you grind your teeth, it's probably just daytime stuff. If it recurs, though, could mean something. And he writes there, it depends. If the teeth come out whole, shalem, it's a very good sign. But if the teeth crumble, not so good. If they come out whole, I don't know. If they come out whole, that's what he says. If they come out whole, shalem, you speak to an expert in this, it's a good sign. If they come out crumbled, not so good. How about putting on tefillin? It's a great mitzvah. It's a great sign, right? The flag trees, right? Put them on, it's very, very good. Wheat. Wheat. So there's a verse in the Torah, actually in Psalms and Tehillim, that connects wheat with peace, shalom. Many times wheat's a very good thing. Dreaming of wheat's a very good thing. Barley, right? The word for barley is sa'ora. Right? And the word sar is to leave. It means your sins have left you, been forgiven. Vine with grapes means you're going to have kids. Okay, bless you. Right? Which means you should get married. Okay, so children are coming your way. Okay, because there's a verse that talks about how your children will be like grapes upon the vine. Olives, much wealth. Okay, goat means you're going to get a blessing this year. Goose, right, because they cry out. They're very loud birds. It means wisdom is coming. Chickens mean you're going to have male children. I should have dreamt of that, right? Hen means you're going to have a beautiful garden. Eggs, nuts, cucumbers, and glass. Okay, if they are broken, it means your wishes will be fulfilled. Because now they're broken, you can see inside them. So a broken egg, nuts, cucumbers, or glass is a good thing. Climbing up to a roof is a good sign. Climbing down is not a good sign. Tearing clothing, is that good? So when do people usually tear their clothing when they're mornings? Great! It means Hashem has just cut a bad decree against you that was in the heavens, and it's now being ripped and taken away. Blood, great. Dream of blood, good thing. How about snakes? I can tell you a crazy story with snakes. Snakes. Good dream or bad dream? You got a dream, walking down the street, and a big snake is coming towards you. Right? Big, fat snake. Good dream, bad dream? Great dream. Let's say the snake bites you. Then it's a fantastic dream. It means you're going to make a lot of money. See, the snake means you're going to make money. Snake bite. It just shows how we try to think. The snake bites you means you're going to make a lot of money. How about you kill the snake? No. Don't kill the snake. Please, I beg you, wake up as soon as you see the snake. Don't kill him. Don't hurt him, because that means you're going to lose your money. One of my great teachers was a wonderful rabbi who grew up traditional, not particularly religious, and he opened a store. And he was in the fashion business and became extremely successful. Right? This is pre his rabbinic days. And he was deciding whether he should become a rabbi or not. And he was waiting for a sign. I think he asked for a sign, which is not a good thing. And he went to sleep, and he dreamt that there was a snake, and he remembers very clearly, he told me, taking a knife, slicing the snake in two, and holding both parts aside. And he's like, that's a great dream. There was a snake, and I killed it. So he went to his rabbi and said, I had a great dream. There was a snake, and I cut it. And the rabbi said, we should have a talk. I don't know such a great dream, okay? And what happened was, true story, the following Shabbat, he was in synagogue, and someone said, something happened to your stall. And it's like, it's Shabbat, I don't want to hear about it. This was at a time when England and Argentina were having a war over the Falkland Islands. It's actually making the news again because they want it back. As far as I know, they can have it. There's more sheep than people, and I don't know why they want it in the first place, but anyway. So they were fighting over it, a little piece of land, right, called the Malvines, whatever, Falkland Islands, right next to Argentina. And they were basically driving tanks through the street to get to the port. His store's right next to the water in the east end of London. I think we had to pass through this. A tank had fallen off or something happened. It had hit a curb and had gone into his store and destroyed the entire thing. He lost a lot of money. He said to his wife that night, when he went Saturday night, Motzei Shabbat, pack your bags, we're going. Right, got rid of everything, and went off and became actually a very, very great rabbi, one of my great rabbis, actually. So killing a snake in your dream is not such a good thing. My wife has dreams, right? She actually has night terrors, by the way, and not just because she's married to me, which doesn't help, okay, but she does actually have night terrors. She has dreams specifically about our children and what their names are going to be, okay? So I was not aware of this until she became pregnant. And then she said, I had a dream last night, out of the blue, it's going to be a girl. I was like, don't be silly. I'm going to have a boy, right? And it's going to be a girl, and the name is, and she said the name. And I was like, that's really, right? Well, she said, that's the name. So I was like, okay, it's a nice name. So she had the baby, you know, and we named our baby that name. And then she got pregnant again. I mean, you know, a little while later. And during the pregnancy, she said, I had a dream again. I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, okay, what did you dream? She goes, I dreamed it's going to be another girl. I'm like, don't be silly, it's going to be a boy. By the way, I thought all my 4 daughters were going to be boys till they came out as girls. And I mean, they were boys until they came out. And so she goes out, she goes, so I had this dream, and the name is, and she told me the name. And I heard this name, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? I said, you have to excuse me, I'm expected back on planet Earth. I'm like, what kind of name is that? Right, Chaviva? I mean, I've never heard the name before. And she goes, it's not an argument, that's the name. I'm like, what do you mean that's the name? First of all, Hajioff's going to be a girl. And second of all, what kind of name is that? She goes, but that's the name. I told you I had it in a dream. I'm like, beep, 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 beep. I'm like, you know what? We shouldn't argue. Let's wait to see what comes out. She gives birth to a girl. All right, 50-50. Yeah. I'm kind of impressed, not too impressed. Now, there are various customs when you name a baby. One custom is the first time, a baby boy. The first time, baby girl, sorry. Baby boy is at the Brit Milah. The girl is the first time the husband gets called up to the Torah, right, which could be a Monday or a Thursday, because there's Torah reading in those 2 days, right? So some will do that. Some do the first Shabbat, which is actually my custom, right, which is most people's custom, and some wait 30 days. Okay, so after 30 days, you know, the baby will live, so that's a good time to do it. Most people wait for the first Shabbat or the first time they get called up to the Torah. My custom is the first Shabbat. It's now Friday night, and we're by my in-laws, and we've got a new baby. And I'm at the table, and she's like, okay, so you're going to name the baby this? I'm like, but I don't like that name. Okay, actually, during the day, let me go back a little bit. I called my rabbi, right, and I said, Rabbi, she had this dream, and she knew it was going to be God, and she wants this name. He goes, what's the name? And I said, Chaviva. And he's like, oh, that's a strange name. I've never heard that before, right? I said, well, what's the law on this? Well, he says, you shouldn't give a baby a name that's going to embarrass them, you know, like a moonbeam, you know, and I don't know, the Zeppelin, you know, and all these other crazy names, Peaches, or, you know, or Apple, or Manhattan, or Brooklyn, you know. I don't know, that's really it's not a Jewish custom to give people strange names, right? Especially Brooklyn, right? So, he says, no, that's number one. Number two, he says, you shouldn't argue with your wife. You shouldn't argue with your wife, right? Whatever your wife wants. I'm saying if she's adamant and she had this dream, right? But three, also speak to other people. See if the kids have these names. So I didn't listen, I argued with my wife. It's Friday night, and I'm at the table, and I'm all emotional anyway, and I'll be honest with you, I said, no, that can't be the name. She goes, that's the name. It's not a discussion. I had a dream. And that's not the name. So I said, you know what? I walked away from the table, and for some reason, I pulled a chumash off the shelf. Now, there's a mitzvah to read the portion of the week in Hebrew every week, okay, and to read the Aramaic translation of Onkelos together with the translation. So I open it up, boop, and I don't usually do that, right? I should, but I don't. I usually read the chumash with Rashi, which you can also do, right? But the best way to do it is Onkelos. For some reason, I said, I'm going to read the Onkelos. And I started reading, it was Parshas Vayigash, right, one of the chapters of Torah. And there it tells a story of Yehuda and Joseph. And Yehuda is arguing with Joseph, not knowing it's really Joseph. And it says that I've got to take my brother Binyamin back. That's the whole story over there. Why? Because his soul is connected to Jacob, my father's soul. I look at the Onkelos, and it says, Nafsha chaviva benafsha. That Torah portion, the name was there, nowhere else in the Torah. I'm impressed. I said, fine. I said, you win. She's like, of course I do. That's the name, right? They can be annoying like that, wives, especially when they're right, you know? So, cool, baby. I called my rabbi Satan. I told him, he said, this is a crazy story. I told him the story. He's like, funny you say that. I opened my Talmud to study right afterwards, and I opened up, and the first name I saw in the Talmud was Rav Chaviva. He goes, that name does not appear very often in the Talmud. And I was going to call you, it's this exact words, but I'm not superstitious, so I didn't call you. I speak to another rabbi. My baby Chaviva was born on Hanukkah. Hanukkah is the only holiday that the Rambam Maimonides describes as a very special holiday. Although it's rabbinic in nature, we light the Hanukkah candles. And it's the only mitzvah the Rambam describes as Chaviva ad Ma'od, very special. So she's born on Hanukkah, and that's how the menorah is. And I thought that was enough. I went to work Monday morning, and I saw my friend. And he looks at me and he says, Mazel Tov. I said, you heard I had a baby? He says, no, but I had a baby. I was like, wow, what did you have? Because I had a baby girl. I said, what's she called? Chaviva. I was like, whoa, this name's going to follow me around a little bit. He goes, it's funny, I love the name. My wife didn't want it, but we decided to do it anyway. Okay, so sometimes we have these little revelations that come to us. And if your wife tells you she had a dream about something, you'd better listen as well. If you dream about wine, it's a question whether it's good or bad. I guess it depends if you're drunk. And if the scroll of Esther appears in your dream, it means miracles are going to come your way. That is the short version of the interpretation of dreams. We will pick this up next week, God willing, with another topic in mysticism. Thank you very much. Have a good night.